Welcome to the Reheat on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel, powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook, got RT Young. We're here to talk football. Finally here, 5 days away. Cannot wait for kickoff. We're here to talk a little bit about Steve Sarkisian, some things he said on Ryan Wingo, some Texas Longhorns field, and maybe jersey news. And then we got to laugh. There's a lot to laugh at from week 0, especially emanating from the town of Manhattan, Kansas. So before we get going, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and make sure you go to that first link in our description. Join Inside Texas for just $1. Best Longhorn insight, best recruiting info, best Texas community, and then you can also get a full year of access to the Athletics. So join for just $1. Get signed up with Inside Texas. We know you're going to stick around with us. And if you join, if you don't join, if you're a YouTube guy or girl only, no matter what, join up, tell your friends, come celebrate Inside Texas 40th anniversary. This week, we will have happy hours at 3 different locations, one in Houston at Big City Wings in the Marquee, happy hour from 5 to 7, trivia from 7 to 9. Wednesday, Katy Trail Icehouse near downtown Dallas, happy hour starting at 5 p.m., home of some great Inside Texas memories. And then Thursday, the last one, August 28th, Little Woodrow's on Burnet, happy hour from 5 to 7, trivia from 7 to 9. I'll be there. RT, I think I'll see you there as well. We get to talk a little bit about the Longhorns. We get to talk a little bit about what you wrote earlier today. Ryan Wingo's development will unlock Texas next level. And one of the things that Paul talked about throughout the course of the offseason, he had a good way of putting it, and it's a little bit of a pejorative, but it's because it holds true. Ryan Wingo was a slants and screens player last year, and in a way similar to what Anthony Hill did going from athlete to linebacker between his freshman and sophomore year, Texas needs Ryan Wingo to go from athlete to wide receiver.
Yeah, if you think of Ryan Wingo's big plays from last year, you're thinking of the play that's pictured right there against Michigan, where he runs the long reverse, almost gets into the end zone. He takes a big slant from the middle of the field from Quinn Ewers against Oklahoma, turns it into a lot of yards after the catch, almost scores off a screen against Texas A&M, scores off a deep post against UTSA, I believe. I can't remember what game that was.
Because he was from Arch.
Yeah. And so obviously Arch Manning and Ryan Wingo had really good chemistry. But then Ryan Wingo later in the year, he maybe hit a little bit of a freshman wall. I think he would even admit that, but he had to really get into a role that I think he was a little bit less comfortable with as the wheels maybe fell off the Isaiah Bond situation, a little bit more health in the wide receiver room. Jonte Cook left the program. And I think you went from seeing someone who could really pop in specific situations where he got the ball on things like reverses and screens, jailbreak screens, stuff like that, to somebody who had to be a complete outside wide receiver before he was ready going into what became a 16-game season. And I think that, Sark's comments really showcased and enlightened everybody on is, yeah, he is similar to Anthony Hill. Anthony Hill got to just play chase and got to pop his freshman year, but when he got to level up and grow and learn how to be a linebacker, we saw special things last year out on the field. And obviously for Texas to reach its ceiling this year, they're going to have to rely on Ryan Wingo becoming that elite outside threat, somebody who's elite outside the hashes, who's able to do more than just take reverses and screens and short slants for big yards after the catch or yards after he gets the ball. So I'm excited. I believe in Ryan Wingo a lot. I've loved all the reporting that we've given the folks over at Inside Texas all off season about his development and his chemistry with Arch Manning. So I couldn't be more excited, and Steve Sarkisian hammered that home today.
That's a clip from that's that 55-yard run from the Michigan game. Not sure if I can play it without getting dinged by the I don't know what it's called. I'm not sure if I can play it, but we know where he's running up the sideline, gets chased down by Will Johnson. Texas scores a couple plays later. And Sark talked today. These guys come in and we can't get them ready to do everything. So you're trying to put them in position to do some of the things that they do really well. Ryan was a great example of that a year ago. We ran reverses and shots downfield with him. All the while, we're trying to develop his game to be a more complete player. And what he doesn't mention is high pointing footballs and some end zone and red zone stuff. Like there were a few different plays last year where he just was beat at the catch point. And as a 6'2", 215-pound player, like you shouldn't be getting beat at the catch point as often as he was. And then also what you throw in here from Pro Football Focus, just to look at kind of what his numbers were like, dependent on where his targets were.
I didn't realize that last year 11 of his 29 catches on the season were behind the line of scrimmage. So it was really just, hey, let's get you the ball and see what you can do with it. And obviously there's a couple deep shots in there, or deep receptions, but really didn't land anything past 20 yards with any consistency. And I think that's one thing where he will benefit from just a stylistic difference between Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning as quarterbacks. Quinn Ewers, very low turnovers for the most part when he was healthy, was extremely risk averse. And we've already seen with Arch Manning, he's a gunslinger, obviously, as the cliche goes. And he will definitely, I think, give Ryan Wingo more 50-50 balls and chances to go up and make a play on the ball downfield, where with Quinn Ewers, it was really if he was taking a shot down the field, the guy really had to be wide open, and he wasn't throwing many prayers up there for somebody to come down with, the way that like maybe young Sam Ehlinger used to do for Colin Johnson and little Jordan Humphrey. But I think we're going to see a return to that a lot more with Arch Manning. There might be a lot of no, yes with Arch Manning early on, but I think Ryan Wingo is a good guy to have on the other end of that. Because I think he and Parker Livingston will impress people with their abilities.
And if I remember how to read, this is a chart from Pro Football Focus. If I remember how to read this right, obviously it's the completions and attempts, and I think that first parenthetical is pass interference, and then it's yardage, and I think it's yards after the catch, which would make sense. You look at that one, at the deep middle, the one of 6, 75 yards for the touchdown that came from Arch Manning. I think that makes sense that was a 39-yard after the catch. And then you look at just everything else, and you see at those ones behind the line of scrimmage at the very bottom quarter of the screen, like he's getting yards after catch. Actually, I don't know if that's the right way of putting it. Maybe – no, because you can catch a ball and lose yard. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked that up before. But, the raw yardage still kind of tells a story in that in the location of where everything was, just a lot of it behind the yard of scrimmage, just like an upside down T, really not trying to get anything 10 yards down the field, because that's kind of the route running zone. And this kind of feeds into him being a little bit more of an athlete than a receiver. Anybody can run the fly route. Art Briles designed a whole offense off of it. But when you need to start running ends and digs and, whip routes and stuff like that, and using, your footwork to knock a defensive back off of you, Ryan Wingo didn't have to do that at St. Louis University High. And he has to do it this level, and he wasn't ready for it. So they didn't feed that on him or feed that to him last year. Now they're going to have to do it, and that's going to be really interesting to see, because with DeAndre Moore, you have faith that he can do stuff like this. And from all reports, it kind of sounds like with Parker Livingston and even Jack Endries, like they have some of that route running capability. And we talked so much about last year, like, oh, there's the tier where it's Cam Coleman and Jeremiah Smith and Ryan Williams, and then Ryan Wingo's right behind him. Well, Ryan Wingo, I think it was justifiably there, but as you can see, RT, like he was behind that trio for a reason, and that reason was some of the limitations in his game.
Yeah, and I think also it can't be understated enough how Arch Manning has a year plus now chemistry with the guys that we're projecting to start on Saturday in Columbus. That he ran on the same team in the same unit with Ryan Wingo all of last year. His first season on campus. He and DeAndre Moore Jr. were both running the third team. Last year, Parker Livingston was running in the same unit as Arch Manning a lot. So I think it was a little bit of a disservice to both Quinn and Ryan Wingo last year when they got forced into action together because they probably really weren't used to one another, because they really expected Isaiah Bond to be in that spot late in the season. And I think the fact that Arch is going to have really good chemistry with Wingo, Moore, and Livingston is obviously what fans are going to really like about this offense. And I think maybe it will take some time to gel, but I'm not predicting as many bumps in the road early on as a lot of people are, because of that chemistry and the rapport that trio is going to have with their quarterback.
Before we keep going, got to show some love to our sponsor, that is David McClellan.
I'm just going to say, guys, you probably need a fiduciary financial advisor, and I've got the guy for you. His name is David McClellan with Forum Financial. He works broadly and deeply with his clients as a financial life coach, and he should know something about coaching because he won several national championships as a swimmer for the University of Texas. He specializes in financial planning and has contributed numerous articles to Kipling on the topic of retirement tax bombs. So contact David today to be your fiduciary financial planner and schedule a 1-hour consultation to assess your financial situations. The free consultation is available, so just give him a call. The number is 312-933-8823. That's 312-933-8823. His email is also in the description below.
RT, there was a little bit of news today that I'm not sure everybody who follows and cheers for the Texas Longhorns was a big fan of. It is that Texas is adding an on-field sponsor. They're not sponsoring the stadium. It's still Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. They're not changing the name of the field. It is still Campbell Williams Field. But they are adding a sponsorship on the 25-yard line from a company called Human. And I know the details are just going to be forgotten, in that it is a company that sells a product that current UT student athletes use and actually love. They feel like I asked one of the Texas chief medical officers, and I kind of made the Gatorade comparison, and he said, like, you know what, for layman's terms, yeah, like this is something that's used, and there's a great backstory with a Nobel Prize winning UT system faculty member doing their part to help figure out how to make this product done. That is all great. It is really cool that the University of Texas and the University of Texas system has helped this product that helps UT athletes, but it's still a sponsorship on the field. And that's all that really matters when a lot of people look at this. And I'm curious what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think there's a couple layers of this. One, I'm not surprised by it at all in the current state of college football, and with revenue sharing and all those things. Obviously, there you have to do so many things to get ahead. So it is what it is. Am I surprised? No. Do I like it? Not really. But I think the biggest news of the day was really how Chris Del Conte addressed it, and that was maybe the thing that I wasn't a fan of. That I think CDC obviously has been a great athletic director. He's such a great ambassador for the University of Texas and the athletic department. Really doesn't make very many public gaffes, I would say. And when he does, it's normally just something you like laugh off, like, or a stumbling of words, which, who among us? But I think today, when he made the comment, when someone asked him, is putting a patch or a sponsorship on the UT jersey, you asked him. Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think
Joe,
that was a question on everybody's mind. Like, are we going to go down the slippery slope?
For those who don't know, Joe is on fire today. He got the first name shout out from Sark at the press conference. He's the one who asked CDC this question. Wow, I didn't realize it was you. But so, Joe, you asked CDC, is there going to be a sponsor on the Texas uniform? And he said, no, that's sacred ground. Basically, we're not going there. And I think where the gaffe comes in is, obviously, before it was Darrell K. Royal, the stadium is Texas Memorial Stadium. It's a memorial for soldiers who died in World War I. So I think that, obviously, using the term sacred ground when you're putting a sponsorship on a field that is literally supposed to be a sacred ground and a memorial. We obviously have not taken the memorial out of its name. It is Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium. I think it was just a little bit of a gaffe. Do I think there were ill intentions behind it? No, I don't at all. But it was definitely ironic and a rare foot and mouth occasion from CDC. So I guess that's really where the extent of my thoughts go on it. I don't love it, but I'm not surprised that it happened.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like he said like this isn't for NIL and this isn't because we're hurting for cash, and I believe that. So then, why are you doing something that he did when he talked about this a couple of years ago? He didn't say like no, never. He said like we don't see the need for it right now, and that's different than no, never. And so I don't think there's any reason to do like a gotcha on CDC for that. And I get, when one of the first people who greeted me when I walked in the door this morning was the PR firm that probably helped put this together. And I know you got to do PR. Like I'm not, I can say and see something, but I'm not going to just be automatically cynical. Like I know there are reasons for things. And to be honest with you, the whole, memorial part, unfortunately didn't cross my mind until I think you mentioned it. And a few others mentioned it. Like, I know that you have to be able to say like, no, this has UT connections and we use this product and that makes sense. But like, you're still putting an advertisement on the field. And I know there's been advertisements all over the place. Like every game has a presenting sponsor. Everything's got a presenting sponsor. And I know, I guess it's just one of those things where it's like everybody keeps moving their line with college sports. And at some point they're going to get tired of moving their line. And it's not that it's an ugly ad. Like it's fine. It doesn't look crazy. It's just a word on the field. It's just, I think it's something that people aren't used to yet. And to not be maybe entirely upfront and to use something that you should have applied to thinking about this deal, that's where people are just kind of like, what are we doing? And you don't, this isn't a business where you bat 1,000. Just ask anybody any athletic director. They've hired a coach that got fired, including this one. It's just not an industry where you're on all the time. I'm sure it's going to do good things for the University of Texas, but you can be honest with it without trying to talk it up as like this giant thing, even though it is a big deal. But somebody on the website also made the point, and I saw it on, I think our guy Steve Horn on Inside Texas, and maybe even a few on Twitter, said like they have had an advertisement on the uniforms. It's just a Nike swoosh. And before that, it was the Reebok Road or whatever they called it. Like,
yeah,
those have been there, but it's all about people's tastes.
Yeah.
And I've always kind of been like, there's room for stuff like, I don't know, Amazon. Not that I want this, but like, just think of the soccer jerseys and you think of like a great season.
Yeah, and NBA jerseys now.
Yeah,
NBA jerseys, they have the sponsorships. Yeah.
Like the Thunder are always going to remember the Loves ad for this year. And you got to make sure you're not putting Theranos or Enron on there. Because what happens when your memories of a championship or a great play have that? Like there's so much to it. And I know for some other schools, this is going to be this is a new way to find money and we need it. But for Texas to claim that it's not that, they weren't looking for a sponsorship. They found one it fits. And then to do that all for, like you said, Memorial Stadium, where there's still the entablature, there's still the plaza in the northwest corner of the stadium, like all the different stuff. It's just be a little bit more forthright and try not to paint a pretty picture when you don't need to.
Yeah, and I think obviously, they ask Ricky Williams and Earl Campbell about this, and not that necessarily matters, but that was a big deal in 2020, and one of the cool things that did come out of the whole mess, that and the Julius Whittier statue, things that definitely were, I think, tasteful and should have happened. But if the Jamails were willing to cede the name over and honor Ricky Williams and Earl Campbell and name the field after them, did they get a say? Are they getting a cut of this sponsorship? I don't know. So there were just a couple things where I'm like, man, this was just kind of a miss. Ultimately, in 5 days, we'll have football again. And I sit in the northeast corner, right above the band, so I'll have a good view of this ad and this sponsorship this year at DKR. Will I think about it a single time? No. But yeah, just today, maybe with all the painstaking effort they went to go through a PR campaign and really tell us how great Human is as a company, which I was unfamiliar with it. It might be, as Solid Verbal says, not a sponsor, should be. But yeah, I just think it was a little bit of a gaffe and a couple stumbles there, which, hey, I'd rather them stumble now as an athletic department over stumbling against the Buckeyes as a team on Saturday.
Well done. Before we keep going, got to show some love to our other sponsor. That is Laura Baker.
Hi, I want to tell you about Laura Baker. If you're looking for a new home in the 512 or even at this point, let's face it, 737 area code, there's only one number to call. That's Laura Baker at 512-784-0505. As a member of the elite Andy Allen team with Keller Williams, Laura has helped Longhorns find the home of their dreams in Central Texas. Just ask our resident sex symbol, Ian Boyd, who moved all the way from Michigan to Texas with Laura's help. Laura can help you find what you're looking for in the 512, the 737, or even parts of the 254 and the 210. Just, give her a call at 512-784-0505. Her email is in the description as well as the rest of her contact details. She's a friend. Give her a call.
RT, we're entering week 1. There was a game in week 0. The main game in week 0 was Farmageddon, Iowa State, Kansas State. The Cyclones prevail. Avery Johnson, Kansas State quarterback, did not play well, and it was not news well received. This is our Schadenfreude of the week. Not news well received in the Johnson family. This is a clip of Avery's dad fighting Avery's brother in Dublin, and it just a little scrap, just a little family kerfuffle. In
what looks like 6 inches of water. I mean, come on, guys, let's find a better place to do this. If
the 2 jersey in the the very funny, the light purple Kansas State, which they've started to kind of add to their collection in recent years. They're just not how you want to end a trip to the Emerald Isle.
No. And not really what you associate, with the down home image of the Bill Snyder Kansas State Wildcats. And I think obviously they are behind the 8 ball already, which you do not want to happen in week 0. I wrote yesterday about if the Ohio State game defines Texas's season. And the reality is it's in week 1. It's a non-conference game. They can still win the SEC. They can still make the playoff, even if they were to lose. But man, Kansas State flew all the way to Ireland week 0 before the football season even starts. They're having this drama, face them when they were the front runner to win the Big 12 this year. Not what you want to see. And I wonder. I feel like week 0 will become more of a thing, but you do wonder if coaches start to rethink it, or at least maybe don't play a conference game in week 0, because, gosh, we saw it affect Florida State last year when they lost to Georgia Tech in Ireland, and they went on to have a 2-10 season. Where was Florida State really a 2-10 team last year? Probably not. But they never recovered from that early loss to the Yellow Jackets in Ireland.
This is one of my favorite parts of this. Just the statement, we apologize, and Barstool KU. 100% AI. Like, hey man, if it's a crutch, you got to lean on it, but you can't break it. So I thought that was pretty funny. RT, this is going to be a fun week. Thank you for getting it started. Thank you for getting it started with us. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Of course, head to InsideTexas.com. Join for just $1. That's that first link in the description. You get yourself a full year of access to The Athletic as well. And if you have not made plans to, make your plans. Come out this week in Houston, Tuesday, August 26th at Big City Wings at the Marquee Center. Happy hour starts at 5. Trivia starts at 7. Wednesday, August 27th, Dallas, Texas, Katy Trail Icehouse. Happy hour only, just starting at 5. And then Thursday, August 28th, Austin, Texas, Little Woodrow's on Burnet. Happy hour from 5 to 7. Trivia from 7 to 9. Should be a lot of fun. It's game week, RT. Going to be fun to do this next week. We'll be talking about a game. We'll be talking about a reheat. Should be a lot of fun. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on the Reheat on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com.